Previously on Gears.
All right, time for Disi's Double Ds. As always on a Friday, we go to delightful destinations.
Yes.
So where are we going?
Tucked away on South Africa's spectacular and unspoilt northern KwaZulu-Natal coastline and beyond, Phinda Private Game Reserve encompasses an impressive 23,000 hectares of protected wildlife habitat. Showcasing one of the continent's finest game viewing experiences, including that of cheetah, and beyond Phinda features Africa's Big Five: the lion, leopard, elephant, buffalo, and rhino, endangered black rhino, and 415 bird species. Phinda is often described as 7 worlds of wonder and boasts 7 distinct habitats, a magnificent tapestry of woodland, grassland, wetland, and forest, interspersed with mountain ranges, river courses, marshes, and pans. Phinda is a wildlife sanctuary where intimate encounters and rare discoveries can be experienced firsthand, with unspoiled beaches and spectacular reefs nearby, as well as an abundance of wildlife. Phinda offers the perfect bush and beach adventure. Catch a glimpse of the shy Sunni antelope or the gracious nyala, or track the movements of the incredible and endangered rhino following in their tracks. Observe the fascinating African elephant as herds of these majestic and gentle giants meander through the fever tree forests, or listen to the rhythmic purr of an elegant cheetah mother as she bonds with her cubs or teaches them how to sharpen their hunting skills.
Ooh.
And beyond, Phinda will immerse you in natural beauty that is matched by exclusive lodges appointed beautifully in your surroundings. From the gorgeous Zen chalets of Forest Lodge to the romantic Flay Lodge, you will be hard-pressed to find finer accommodation in the region. Today we're chatting to Clinton Jardine, who is the And Beyond Phinda Forest General Manager. Hi Clinton, welcome to Gears on Balls Visual Radio.
Thanks for having me on the show today.
Great to have you. I got to tell you that my first ever girlfriend, her nickname was Phinda.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
What does Phinda mean?
I don't know. What does Phinda mean? It must be a nice Zulu word.
It actually means the return, Phinda. It means the return.
Oh, no, I don't think that's going to happen.
No.
Clinton, it sounds extraordinary.
It is. I mean, Phinda is absolutely a magical place. I mean, it's such diverse habitats and a wide variety of animals on the reserve. It's a very special place to not only work, but to come and enjoy.
You have a large variety of accommodation that you offer. Could you tell us about the different types that you have?
Yes, well, and beyond Phinda Private Game Reserve, we've got 6 magnificent lodges on the reserve, and each of them have their own individual charm and character. Forest Lodge and Mountain Lodge are 2 of the larger lodges on the reserve, where we've got also Rock Lodge and Flay Lodge being a little bit more intimate, more romantic, only taking 12 guests each. And then also we've got options such as Zuka Lodge and the Homestead, which are sole-use villas that offer the perfect getaway for a family.
Sounds stunning. Clinton, you have the Big Five, as I mentioned. How many game drives do you offer per day, and do guests frequently see most members of the Big Five? Because I know I've often been on game drives and I've seen like 1 or 2 members. Do you often see all 5 of them?
Yeah, well, very often. I mean, we obviously offer 2 game drives, one in the morning, leaving just around sunrise, and then we'll head out again in the afternoon for an afternoon evening drive. But it's definitely not uncommon that spending sort of 2 nights that you'll certainly get to see the Big Five at Phinda.
That's awesome. I read that you also offer bush walks. Sasha probably thinks I'm mad, but that interests me. Are they safe, and what can guests expect to see while on foot in the wild?
They are very safe. Our rangers are all very carefully trained to obviously conduct these walks, and there's 2 different types of walking opportunities. The first is more of a nature walk, which is more focused on tracks and signs and the smaller, more friendlier animals that one would encounter on foot. And then the second is more focused on high-profile games, so rhino or buffalo, etc., where the objective is to track the animal on foot and to view it in its natural environment, and of course leave the animal without it having known that you're even there. But no, they are safe.
That's my
yeah,
game.
yeah. I'm not too sure about that. Eh?
I'd love that. This is very important to you, this next question. Phinda is a great example when it comes to rhino conservation. Could you tell us about your rhino translocation and conservation and what role it plays for the future of rhinos and their conservation?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, I think we're all well aware of the rhino poaching crisis that's not only that's happening in South Africa at the moment, and obviously we've been very fortunate that this our Rhinos Without Borders translocation has been such a success, and it's enabled us to move some of our threatened rhino across the borders from South Africa across to Botswana into a much safer environment, which has excellent security systems in place to protect these endangered animals. What is amazing is that this was the first ever private game reserve donation of rhino to another country. So by translocating 6 of our white rhinos from Phinda to the Okavango Delta in Botswana, it's obviously helped to ensure the ongoing preservation of not only South Africa but also Botswana's natural heritage. And I'm sure you can imagine that moving 6 rhino is quite a mammoth task. And it certainly took a lot of support and generous contributions from Rhino Force and Motorrad, etc. to help us do this.
Was it also quite costly?
Yes, of course. There was a lot of cost involved with that. I mean, obviously the transport of getting these 6 rhino all the way up there, various permits, etc. that were needed. Also the radio equipment that's used, etc., and obviously the staff and personnel, vets, security, etc. It's quite a costly affair to do it.
Well, it's fantastic because it really is such a concern in South Africa, and I know a lot of South Africans are really trying to get involved to try and help the rhino. Moving on to something happy. Amongst many other adventures to enjoy at Phinda, you offer scuba diving adventure, luxury walking safari, black rhino tracking experience, specialist birding safaris, and turtle hatching excursions. There's so much to do. Could you briefly tell us about a couple of the adventures and which ones would you suggest guests partake in?
Sure. Well, I think where we're so fortunate is that, Phinda has got such a wide choice of activities that you can not only do on the reserve, but also, as you mentioned, on the beaches of Sodwana, which are just a stone's throw away from us. So, and each of these adventures, if we could call it that, have happen at certain times during the year. So, for example, the turtles coming up. It's more sort of November, December. They come up and start laying their eggs on the beaches of Sodwana, and we take our guests down there to be able to enjoy this sort of once in a lifetime opportunity of seeing them laying their eggs. And then going into sort of the more January, February period, that's when the eggs start hatching. So that in itself is a really amazing thing to be able to partake in. And obviously those that are very adventurous, I mean, there's the choices of scuba diving, etc., in the reefs of Sodwana, which have an amazing variety of marine animals. And then, the specialist safaris, which we also offer too, where we tailor-make your safari to a particular interest that you might have. So if it's photography, then we've got one of our trained guides that specialize in it. And you can just spend your days out in the bush just focusing on photography or birding or tracking or just walking. So it really just opens up so many doors for someone that wants to sort of focus on a particular item.
That's awesome.
Sounds like a real treasure trove that you have.
It certainly is.
Okay, finishing off, your rates. Do they include game drives and meals? And are you currently running any specials that you can tell us about?
Our rates do include game drives and the meals, and obviously led by our trained rangers. And then in terms of specials, I mean, it's always good just to follow on the website. But we do have our bush break specials, which are exclusively for South African residents at our Southern African lodges, where they get booked and confirmed and paid sort of within 14 days of travel. But the best bet is just to keep up to date on our website.
Okay, could you give us your website address?
Sure, no problem. It's obviously that's www.andbeyond.com.
Okay, awesome.
Great stuff.
Thanks
It
so
sounds
much.
it sounds terrific. Thanks very much for being on the show.
Only a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right, thank you very much. Nice one, Disi.
At the next intersection, turn on
Gears with Sasha Martinengo.
weekdays from 12 to 2 p.m. Central African Time.